Hallo und herzlich willkommen zum Auf die Fresse, the WXW podcast, the WXW review podcast in English. I'm Ian Hampton, fudging his lines. He's Mike Kilby. How's things?
Groovy. All good, man. How's it going?
It's been a bit quiet and busy at the same time. Like, there's just been the one show up since we last recorded, over Easter. And
one show, but I feel like it's been a very news-heavy month.
yes.
Or period since we last recorded, should we say. I don't know if it was a month.
No, we do notes because none of us have got good memories these days, but like normally it's like, oh, well, this happened, this guy's injured, we've announced these. Like, the news bit is half a bloody notes this time.
It's a substantial... Yeah, very substantial.
So may as well dive in head first. Of course, a few weeks back, tickets for World Tag Team Festival went on sale, and I believe about a quarter of them are gone already, which, I mean,
yeah,
no mind everything's going on, the pressures everyone's on about inflation, high price and all that. That many going back quickly, that's going to be a good sign.
Yeah, I mean, it is T2. It is T2 rather than T1, so the capacity won't be as many, especially if they are going for the sitting, all-seater concept, which I'm disappointed if that is the case. But I think a lot of people looked at 16 karat gold with very green eyes, very envious eyes, and
just cause.
I'm not missing that again. Quite rightly, you shouldn't have missed it. But yeah, I think there's a lot to be said. I think for it's 25% of, I want to say probably 1,000. So let's say it's 300 for it. Yeah. So it's not bad.
So that's running Saturday, 1st October through Monday the 3rd in Oberhausen, of course. October 3rd's German Unity Day. That's why it's running on a Monday. It's not because they want to have everyone skip work for Tag Festival finals, but we're also doing Inner Circle at the Alma Fight Park in Gelsenkirchen on Friday. So
on the Friday, yeah.
The first time both of us will be seeing that new place unless we're making a trip over in the summer. But yeah, interesting times.
Yeah. So yeah, if you are booking hotels, make sure you book from Friday to Tuesday rather than Thursday to Monday.
Otherwise, that Monday night you're going to be asleep on the airport floor, no doubt.
Although if the same thing happens to me again, I'll probably have space in my mega suite in the trip. So you might be able to bunk on my sofa.
First come, first served, day.
Yes, exactly.
Of course, we're not putting tickets on sale for this without giving you any names. So we have two teams for the festival. First up is Shigehiro Irie and Fuminori Abe. There was a few disappointed wasn't Abe and Takuya Nomura, the astronaut. I'm calling them the headbutters based on that ambition match, but that was a pretty good, a popular first choice of team for this.
I think it's absolute no-brainer, really. At this point, I think Irie is the most popular import. I think since Tim Thatcher, really, for WXW, there's nobody who I think has. I can't think of anybody who's encapsulated what WXW is all about as much as him. He clearly loves it. Everyone loves it when he's here. And I say Abe, I think, along with, I mean, considering Abe had never wrestled outside of Japan prior to March, the fact he's already booked to come back here in October is just brilliant. Two really great people, and I feel like if these are established, if they keep coming back and back and back, you've just got mega stars sort of in Germany there. And I can't get enough of either of them, to be honest.
And from in our base case, I mean, we said at the time of the couch review, he was out of his merch, pretty much by the Sunday. So, speak to
earlier than that, I think, actually. He didn't have anything. He only had T-shirts by Saturday morning.
Yep. And obviously, I got last towel for Eddie Sideburns, and that was on the Sunday evening show.
Yeah.
He's just left with the 8x10. So, yeah, have a word of the SL Wrestling lads. I'm sure they'll have a few boxes ready for September, October. Second team in.
Shipping container over.
Well, depends how many comes maybe count next year, but I've got another team as well. Returning duo of Kevin Koo and Dom Guarini, Violence is Forever. They were part of the last festival back in 2019, late subs for Bandido and Flamita. This time there's going to be a little bit more mustard behind them, and I hope they bring the tag titles with them they've got. Let's see, deep breath. We've got the tag titles from Action Wrestling, Southern Underground Pro, Black Label Pro, and C4 Wrestling in Canada. that's a hell of an excess baggage charge just before you even count your gear.
Yeah, I don't think that's good. I don't think they'll be bringing all those over. I mean, depends on when they.
Style.
Yeah, I mean, depending on when they come over, they may come over earlier, and they may win the WXW titles. Who knows? But,
I know they have announced a longer tour based on it, but I think actually
is Tagfest the start of it?
Let me have a look and see here my clacky
I
keyboard.
raise these questions and then you have to go and find out the answers, don't I?
So this is something I meant to put in the notes but completely missed. So they did announce a longer tour based on the back of this. And let's see. How many images are you tweeting, Dominic Guarini, for crying out loud? No, so Dominic Guarini hasn't tweeted. That's why.
Okay. Well, regardless, they might add, if they do a European tour before, and they might add some more to that, or they might drop them all before they come to Europe because
and take over the European scene.
Exactly.
Right. So dates now. Sorry. So WXW is actually the end of their tour. So I'm looking now. September 18th through September 30th, they're going to be based. They've split the UK and Cardiff up for 2 different reasons. I guess they think there's a huge journey, depending where you are in the UK. 18th, 23rd, UK, 24th, 30th, Cardiff, and then October 1 through 3, just WXW, I guess. WXW's now an entire country, which I'm not going to argue. I mean, take a swing of the world for national anthem, I guess.
Yeah. And I suppose they're over for the old Clash in the Castle thing, aren't they?
Well, there's plenty of tickets gone for that, but we digress. Someone who won't be part of World Tag Festival, unfortunately, Dennis Cash-Dolnig. We noticed on that Papenburg show on the last review, he needs help getting to the back. WXW announced he'd suffered a torn ACL, which is going to take 10 months recovery, which that's probably going to put maybe Carrot as a bit of a push. Again, that's a long ways ahead, but
yeah, I think it might be
a really bad time for Dennis. I mean, he's one of the highlights, especially of Coward Weekend. Calling him an entertaining idiot just for his behaviour, his actions. But
and someone who, let's face it, prior to the closed set era shows was persona non grata. He was nobody really outside of people who were particularly big fans of Swiss wrestling. He wasn't anybody really.
He was brought in, I think, before he had that team with Oliver Carter on the old shotgun days.
Yeah,
this is a guy they literally took from nothing in front of nobody.
Yeah, and then by the time we got to Carrot, everybody gets it. I would like to think most people loved the character. I certainly did, and I think we was on the way to be getting something quite exciting, maybe with him and Hector as a team. Really, I love a straight man and comedy man team because I think they always work really well. It's the sort of thing I love, and I think that was sort of heading towards that and being a very, very good thing. But it's a very big shame that he has picked up this injury, kind of cut him off at the knees, really. You really hope that when we get to, let's say, sort of this time next year, we're kind of thinking we've forgotten about this injury, to be honest. Because
back up and running.
Yeah.
And again, you don't know. I mean, I don't know if he's had surgery yet on it, but you've had guys who've come back or been around after surgery, went on the road to recovery, and even it's just one show a month when Hector's booked. Keep that whole thing up, but we'll have to see what goes on with Dennis and Hector in the next 10 months. But
especially in European wrestling, even more than Britain, especially when a wrestler has a long injury like that and they disappear, you wonder whether you ever do see them again. And we'll get onto that in a second.
Yeah.
But
some better injury news, I guess. Anil Marek, he had successful surgery on that shoulder injury he got. I think that was the Running Bulldog they posted a video of from the academy. But no customers really, to be blunt. But you just mentioned it. After 3.5 years away, I mean, God damn, it should have been another 18 months for the obvious joke. Julian Neal's back. Not quite WXW, but the European Wrestling Association. I think you flagged this up to me a few weeks back. lost in. I had to Google the pronunciation with Sankt Pölten in Austria,
St.
and then
Pölten, yeah.
Gerresdorf elsewhere in Austria. He's had 3 matches over 2 shows. Nero was last round in 2018's World Tag Team League, going full circle again. Him and Avalanche failed to defend the tag titles. They lost to Angelico and Jeff Cobb, cost him a spot in the finals. And then he was out, so neck injury, they said, and not being back until this past April. So, first steps back, but we'd heard rumors he was training for a comeback or gearing up, and word on the street was right.
Yeah, I mean, I spoke to him last time. I spoke to him prior to obviously he came sort of coming back. I spoke to him, I think, just after Carrot 2019. No, I think it might have been 2020. Actually, I think I spoke to him just after Carrot 2020, and he sort of said like he's just taking it slow, and he says he wasn't really sure, but I didn't hear anything after that. No, it was 2019 definitely, because
it'd been just about 6
it
months.
It would have been at 6 months, and I was saying, how's it going? And he's kind of just taking it slow, and then they didn't hear anything again. So I thought, okay, that's the last we saw of him. Unfortunately, Poochie died on the way back to his planet. But no, thank God he is back. I say, a really top fella, a wrestler who I think I would never say he was Bryan Danielson's sort of incarnate, but he was a wrestler who I think over the course of the Monster Consulting run, definitely one of the most improved wrestlers in Europe in terms of he wasn't particularly good when I sort of first saw him sort of in 2017, but heading over sort of towards that Monster Tag Team run, he was definitely a credible wrestler sort of for the promotion, and sort of could hold his own. And I think that's a testament not only to his hard work, but also a testament to, Coach Dreisker. I think he did put the hours in. I think that he's an example of somebody who has definitely improved by being in that sort of environment. I
guess. Well, I think we had the injury. The whole thing with Service was the big run as well. Yes, hopefully. Obviously, I would say these are baby steps, and we don't know. I think he last wrestled end of April. I don't know what each way's road schedule is, but we'll see what comes up, and who knows? Maybe he might be able to calm down Coach Dreisker in his current, how to put it, damaging ways. But
that would be definitely a way to turn him heel with me.
Well,
I think. I mean, I don't know if WXW is a target for him. I mean, he's only 3 matches back into return. He might not want to go full time on the road again, but it's probably a conversation to sort of he needs to sort of have with himself, whether that's a thing, and
see how things go.
Whether there is a place for him.
First matches back can often be more troublesome than first ones in, especially if you're coming back from an injury like a neck one. But best wishes to Julian and his comeback. Going for other names, rotation, heading stateside next weekend. He's part of Black Label Pro's always bet on Black Label Pro. This is completely out of left field. This isn't like WXW. You've got I would say playing for guys, but I saw this last weekend on Twitter before I went to bed, and I saw Black Label Pro. It's Keita, Crash Jackson, Corbett. Hang on, that's rotation.
It's a bit like when you get the random pre-season friendly. When you get Ruben Kazan come in and play Colchester United in the summer or something like that, it's a bit of a what the hell are they doing there? But no, fair play to him. I don't entirely know why. Although I suppose he is actually a full-time wrestler nowadays. He's not. He's the training, and I suppose he probably can commit more time to. It can commit more time to be going abroad like that. So yeah, fair play to him. And I think he's got a very good reputation with everybody he works with. So I assume somebody put a good word in for him.
I mean, I think, it means he's not going to be on True Colours next weekend. Obviously, he's can't be 2 places at once. But if you want to catch it, I believe it's going to be on Fight next Friday night, 11 p.m. Pacific. So that'll be 7 a.m. Saturday morning if you fancy some early morning wrestling in the UK, 8 o'clock in Germany. I'd guess match is going to be on pretty early, just looking at that card. But yeah, nice international break rotation, and fingers crossed you manage to get tickets for AEW as well, because that's what a lot of us comes piggybacking on that weekend.
Oh, is it piggybacking on Double or Nothing?
Yep.
Maybe you can be in that. What's the casino battle royale? We could have the rotation in it.
That would blow a few people's minds.
That'd be brilliant.
I know there's a few promotions like running. I forget the name of any. Their running was like FSW. There's a few of us doing shows in a building pretty close to the arena. So it's the same kind of thing, like the early days WrestleMania weekends when you had, was it Evolve, and a few of us had a building nearby before it became the absolute cluster mess it is now, with 500 shows in 3 days and everyone wondering, why aren't matches as good as they can be? Because everyone's working 20 matches in a weekend and we're all bloody knackered.
Yeah. All the best matches are on Thursday.
Yeah.
it always is.
Well, this year too, I remember. But so going on to something which I've got no good way to bridge between us, but the shotgun title lottery's been scrapped. Kind of touches on the Weyhe show we'll be talking about in a second, but yeah, Norman Harris once again tried to win the belt. He lost. Fisher Rage, he scrapped the lottery concept. They put up new rules and put these through Google Translate. There isn't that much difference. Still the 15-minute time limit, the whole gimmick of more pay if you win more matches. The only difference now is the challenge is determined by the Championship Board of Directors or the Sporting Director, which at the moment is your friend Norman.
Wonder who that is. Would you look who won the pony, as they say.
So again, the whole thing of title be vacated if it can't be defended. So yeah, really not much different apart from the whooshy noise when the opponent is drawn. But I mean, it was a good run. But again, I haven't had a chance to go through the draw. But like you had, obviously Norman Harris, it's a gimmick. He had a load of draws and miss. I think Cash Dolnick had a bunch as well. So I think maybe when things are properly up and running, let's say like more than just like somebody running regularly in Germany and mainland Europe, this could be a decent gimmick for bringing someone in. For like, I mean, the again viral touch on Rick Salem had was brought in as a challenger unannounced. It's a good gimmick, but again, you kind of do need to have that laundry list of this guy for this show, this guy for this show. Otherwise, you do end up being the intended otherwise fast food has been.
The one thing to say is they have scrapped it, but it's an easy win for any new sporting director that does come in. I think regardless of storyline or not, if the next sporting director comes in and says, "Guess what? We're bringing back the shotgun lottery," everyone's going to be like, "Yeah, brilliant." So I think with that, it's
it's plot device easily.
Yeah, you turn it on and turn it off. It's easily done. I don't really have any problems with this. All it means is that the illusion that it's random is gone. But
yeah,
if you don't know who this challenger is anyway, then it's kind of
Going back to some familiar names, Leon St. Giovanni's coming back to WXW this summer. He was last in 2018 with Shaheem Ali's part of Coast to Coast. Wasn't part of the tag league that year, which
they were sort of I feel like they were there as the unofficial reserves.
Yeah, like the alternates. I did see them. The show I went to in Hamburg in November 2018. They were pretty good. I don't know what happened because they were with Ring of Honor at the time, and obviously having Ring of Honor, that's all gone. But it's just LSG coming back. He'll be on the shows in Frankfurt, Erfurt, and Hamburg. Shortcut to the top in August, and the debut of Fight Forever. And Mike, I hear you not saying what's Fight Forever. I'm going to tell you anyway.
What's Fight Forever?
It's the new series that's been taped at the Wrestling Academy in Gelsenkirchen. So before we even dreamt of this podcast, WXW announced a streaming deal with Bilibili in China.
Yeah,
it's the show. They're going to be taping somewhat regularly at the Academy in Gelsenkirchen. So the last Academy show in Essen is on July 2nd. I think they're doing like a flea market to get rid of stuff they don't want to take with them. So if you ever wanted one of those massive, tour date posters with, Walter and Bad Bones on, that might be up for sale. We don't know. But then Gelsenkirchen, we moved to the Alma Park Fight Club, I think it is. August 7th, first show, might be Fight Forever, and I believe I'll be Billy and YouTube as well, and be the mixture of academy trainees, other names from Europe, and some main roster names. So kind of like those academy live shows which they started putting on YouTube and then seemingly stopped.
Well, I get the impression it's just going to be like old Shotgun, where you're probably just going to get, the rotation wrestling against the person who's staying at the academy this month. So, when it was Fred Yehai or something, you'll just get a random Fred Yehai match against Norman Harris. That's probably what's going to happen, isn't it?
Or like really huge. I mean,
Yeah.
he's doing pretty well in Best of Super Juniors right now, and he had a brief stay with WXW. Didn't do any of the big shows out there. He came between like the 10-pole ones, but yeah, there's another name they're adding to their list, rightly so.
Yeah.
Slipping back into WXW names elsewhere, one that really got our attention. The Owls Hungary are back in Britain for Rev Pro's Great British Tag League. Starts next weekend in Stevenage. I don't think they've been announced for the Stevenage show, have they? They haven't announced.
No, I don't believe so.
They're in Block A alongside Aussie Open, Charlie Sterling, Nick Riley, and Mike Logan and Connor Mills. There's three cracking matches straight away. I mean, I think the Aussie Open one they've had before in Southampton a few years back. So some new matches, familiar friends, but it's been a long time since we've been in Rev Pro, and hope we get to see them on the shows we get to.
Yeah, for sure, and it's good to see that the B word and the C word haven't appeared to have affected them moving to doing shows in Britain as well. So it's it's definitely a good arrival, and not necessarily Rev Pro, but I did see that also from Hungary. Is it Maverick and Gulias?
Oh yes, they're coming over next month.
They are coming over next month. They're not announced for anything, but they are coming over for a week or so on it. So they get on something.
Yeah, I've not seen any dates have been announced. And I don't think there's. I mean, they're basing in London. So you can hear me typing again. They're based in London. They said. Yeah, it's actually a pinned tweet from June 9th to June 14th. And again, I think we've said private the number of promotions in London have kind of dwindled down during the C word. You're not getting the there could be a promotion running every night, but I've banged the drum myself. You've banged the drum as well. Two lads who've been getting justifiable praise for work they're doing. So anyone running London or the area, take a punt, because it's not. This isn't a random guy who's got a ski. These are guys who are going to be going places.
I mean, even if they're just coming over to train, that's still good for them, I suppose.
Yeah, but hopefully, get to see them on a show, and ideally one we can actually get to see, because Maverick, we've seen a few times, Gulias as well, both decent lads, and even if it's just your local star against the import for month template,
Yeah, for sure.
So we've got one more story, but we'll get onto that because it's a bit meaty one, I guess. I know there's a bit in today's Observer which maybe explain what we expected, but before we get to the Slamming and My show, both of us saw some WXW in Camden of all places last weekend. Kinda.
Yeah, it was a bit of felt like an away match, really. I've not been to Progress since 2018, so 4 years since I've been to Progress.
I've been after the Dome show, wouldn't it?
No, last Progress show I went to was Wembley, and I saw that and I thought, that's enough for me. And I come back and I realised, it definitely was enough for me.
Yeah, I mean, again, the match was announced. It was a 4-way for a spot in Super Strong Style 16. Maggot, Bobby Guns, Jörn Simmons, Axel Tischer. Guess we're part of a mini WXW fan corner, I guess you could say. But for match, I think it's dropping on Network, Peacock, and Progress something next weekend. But I'd say it's probably the match of a show, and that's not my bias coming through.
It was
backhanded slight. I think before the Maggot alone, I think it was just the three of us, clapping in tune to his music. By the end, he won that place over.
It was we haven't said the results, so it's fine. But as a show, as a match, it felt like it could have quite easily have been the main event in Frankfurt
Yep.
on a We Love Wrestling card. So it was definitely, it's one that's worth watching. It doesn't really have any implications outside of Progress, to be completely honest. But
No.
you know, if you like any of these four people, it's one that I would recommend you watch. Really,
We'll not give away the winner because
Yeah.
some people will want to watch it on the network, what have you. But yeah, it's a fun match, and I kind of want to hear how the crowd reactions get back over. Yeah, so I'll be dropping next weekend, and guess we'll talk about the one WXW show that has dropped since we last recorded. Slam and Mai. It's I think it was
Weyhe.
April 30th in Weyhe. Slamming to May, literal translation. I thought this was a pretty good show. There's a lot of stuff on the cards, I guess, happened without being announced. Like there's a few matches which literally weren't announced and until show day. But yeah, I mean, as a show, I mean, go down from top to bottom. So we opened with Sense of Alto, Fast Time Mudo. Yeah, and this one crowd was split from the start. I mean, I guess you had like Senses, flippiness, Mudo's kicks. And I think this one was maybe trying to hint towards potentially like a tag title match in the future. They had no sense of Alto won, of course, but the fact that they were pretty much saying, I think it was the interview after the show, where's Steffi? I think that's one which they've been trying to play a little bit of also just being Mudo kind of a team. Maybe playing if she injured again. That's not the case, I don't think. But yeah,
you'd hope not.
ends are over in 10 minutes, and while he's having his fights with his own tag partner, Friendly Fire, I guess, he's still getting done no singles action.
If it ends up with Sense of Alto and Fast Time Mudo as tag team champions, that'd be the one to happen.
Well, it's the random booking we might see elsewhere in London, but we will not go down that path. But talking about the stuff that was booked on the day, we had a segment, Norman Harris with Robert Dreisker.
Norman Harris with a glass of red wine.
Yeah, it's like
It's a classy fella.
So his
He's
sport
not old enough. It was Ribena, obviously.
Well, yeah. Was he doing polo after the show? Like every time he's dressed for these things, like the backstage segments, it's almost like the overly posh, suit, like he's about to go out and play polo afterwards, something like that.
Don't worry about polo. Could you hear in the background of that interview that somebody was playing squash or tennis? Could you hear it?
Yep.
It was someone obnoxiously playing squash or tennis.
Didn't want to take brother, but yeah. So basically, what was there?
I mean, I know it's a sports centre, but come on.
It's a curse of shooting these places.
I was expecting them to hear like a hand dryer go off.
I've been to enough wrestling shows in sports halls where you just hear like the bumps on the mat, and then all of a sudden, like I think the Ring of Honor show went to years and years back when the Rexplex was a thing, like 2004. And I think there was a indoor skate park in the same complex, and in between quiet parts of the matches, you could hear people skating,
Yeah.
It's like I get it. You can't really, unless you have individual rooms, you can't effectively seal. But it's like I don't know if it's charm or if it's a case of maybe do it again. But hey, it kind of worked. If they're trying to play Norman as being, he's got his one-track mind and the rest of the stuff he's doing because it keeps him in hunt for shotgun belt. But yeah, so the whole thing with Dreisker was he was summoned because his face was on the poster because they didn't expect they were going to be suspending him, which
I do like. Yeah,
I guess. But Dreisker just wasn't in the mood for it. It's the whole thing of he didn't want he didn't like Harris doing the whole thing in front of the camera, which seems to be his whole MO, all of his meetings. I guess he's recording for evidence, which it's not the worst idea in the world, but
it's almost like one thing I do love about the way that a thing that I've always loved about WXW, the way it presents itself is it presents. There's always the thing about most wrestling TV isn't a wrestling program; it's a program about a wrestling company. And I feel that WXW does the program about a wrestling company thing even better because they talk about local promoters. They talk about oh, you're advertised for this, so you're on the poster. We've got to put you on.
Yeah.
You know, you've got the backstage things where they're talking quite like where the referee is also like doing the lighting rigs. You know, you get like Shooter Schultz doing something
Yeah.
in the angles, and I think that for me, I watched that and I really like it. Did kind of make me laugh because it really solidified the thing. One of the things that immediately dragged me into WXW sort of when I was first sort of flirting with Shotgun back in the day. So yeah, I did enjoy that.
It was kind of paying that homage again, but
Yeah.
So Dreisker was told his suspension ends a day early. You're here because you're on the poster, you can wrestle anyway. He's told he's wrestling Oskar, except Dreisker didn't have his gear because he's not a rookie who brings his gear hope for an opportunity. Harris gives him some elbow pads, which of course are way too small, and we have a match for later tonight. And yeah, when I heard that, I was thinking, oh, we've gone from nothing to doing the match, and yeah, the same. We'll get that. But next up, Levaniel Vincent Heisenberg. I think it's okay, but I think Heisenberg's doing the old berserker thing. Won this one by count outs.
Yeah.
Only thing I would say, and this is probably me being not thinking too deep. Levaniel's in the main event at Carrot about 2 months beforehand. Now he's losing by count out to Heisenberg. But that's more of a mighty fallen kind of thing. But
I think that's always been the thing. I think that the implication with Levaniel and the main event at Carrot was always that he shouldn't be here.
yeah,
He severely cocked it up in the main event. He cocked up. He didn't win the title in the main event. He then got injured in the sort of follow-up match before the follow-up match happened. So I think him dropping way down the card again kind of doesn't really feel like a thing. And later things will go on, which we'll go on to in a minute.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think it's necessarily that bad.
Yes, after the match, Levaniel was beaten up some more. Jörn Simmons ran out and made the save. Jörn is knocked down, knocks down Heisenberg, sends him packing. And guess that kind of creates a bit of distraction ahead of the main event. Move on to Rotten Flot against the Only Friends. And yeah, I don't know what was in my drink, but the Only Friends entrance video.
With the 3D zebra.
Like, the 3D zebra. I get the whole T-shirt, which you've got is the Bobby and Michael holding hands riding zebras, but
Bobby and Michael Knight, not me. Let's be clear.
Bobby guns Michael Knight, not Mike Kilby. No. So yeah, I mean, this was a pretty good tag match. I'll say two of the more established teams in WXW in terms of getting stuff done, like in terms of being regular and what have you. Again, Rotten Flop, their whole thing is Shanda, everyone's cheating but us. And yeah, I mean, I would say this match, and I think throughout the show, and I don't know whether this was the new editing or whether it's just something snafu in the whatever live ed would do. Coolish on the crossfades, guys, because this match I was getting headaches. Like,
big fan
and
of
it also
Lucas.
seemed to be one of the hard cameras, like not a hard camera, it just seemed like arty crossfades in and out, but it was just happening so often. It was like, what? It was just not. It wasn't hard to keep track. It was just the way slowly.
It was one camera, wasn't it?
I think it was one of the hard cams, like on a corner view as well. Which
and
again, they had an entrance from the corner, which was different from the usual set they have, which was nice. But yeah, just fewer crossfades, guys. But as for the match, it I would say broke down, but the whole thing, it went down to Rottenford making the tags. Schenkenberg was legal, but they kept going after charisma. It was the snapshot, the old Eminem snapshot they called it. Mike took. That's the win. Rottenflot. There's a lot of leniency from the referee here, which is going to be one of the things they keep adding to their big pile of complaints. But yeah, it's things said in review. The Only Friends not playing to the whistle cost them in the end.
Yeah, I think I don't know how long the shelf life is for Only Friends. I don't. For me, I see it lasting to Tagfest at most. I like them as a team. However, I kind of see the whole, considering they were so at each other's throats before this, and then they kind of sort of said, "Oh, do you know what? Let's give it a go." I kind of feel like they need to. They really need to. I don't. For me, I just don't. I don't see it being a particularly long-term thing as a
Yeah.
team, and it's going to be mistakes like this, and it'll be. These are mistakes that, because they're not tag team wrestlers, these are the mistakes that they'll make, and I think that's going to be more of a thing as it goes on. And yeah, I think it's. I don't think it's going to last much longer than Tagfest, to be honest.
Well, to be honest, I have June 12th circled, and we'll get to that when we cover the upcoming shows. They do have a Tag Festival qualifier against Heisenberg and Maggot, so
Yeah,
that could be one we might just scrape through. But yeah, definitely worth keeping an eye on that one. Lawrence Roman against Igor Blanc, another decent one race. Roman, I don't think he's not once since he's come back into WXW Overcard weekend, but it was a pretty good showing. Like, it wasn't one of those where Igor Blanc took the majority of it and you thought, oh, it's an extended squash kind of thing. Roman really held his own. I could have seen him leaving with this, like facebuster and crossface nearly got it, but in the end, it's the old Sky special seatbelt pin. Igor Blanc's chained together those wins.
he is, and I think he's doing them more impressively than Sons of Volta as well. I think we've kind of they've been seeding a bit of tension between the two of them, haven't they? Likewise, I think Lawrence Roman. I think you kind of he's everyone knows he's been out for 2 years. I think he retired just before
COVID. He stopped, yeah.
Yeah, he's been retired. Well, he's been out for 2-3 years. So I suppose there's a lot of ring rust, and they're sort of playing on that as well. But I feel like, it was a really good showing from Roman. He's a worker I've always been a massive fan of, because I think he just has. I felt like he was the natural successor to Ilya from that part of the world, and I want him to make the next step, but no pun intended. I want him to sort of get onto that, like the level above where he is now. But I think he needs to stick to it, really, more than anything else. But I think he's had a few injuries.
Like this won't be a matter of time, but yeah, I think it's just a case of getting like regular bookings and not being that guy they use when we're in Dresden.
Yeah, exactly. And I think I genuinely think he's one of the most criminally underrated wrestlers in German wrestling, I think, over the past 5 years, because he's always I can't think of anything that he's done that's been bad. And he's got that intensity, which, like a lot of the Dresden wrestlers appear to have. It's just, I don't know, he just doesn't seem to have the last bit.
Final step, yeah.
Yeah, I don't entirely know why.
Let's move on to the Shotgun Championship. Rick Salem, as we said earlier, got the drawn lottery. Again, decent match, but not one of those you'd think, he was ever in any danger of winning. Didn't even go 7 minutes. But Maggot was on the defensive, I think, for a fair part of this. He won. May as well bleed into the next bit. Norman House came out. Strange in his gear. Tells the lottery was drawn wrongly. Have a do-over. He comes out. Well, Norman's name comes up. And he loses in 42 seconds. And we'll get to the end of the lottery there. But yeah, this whole thing, I mean, we said Rick Salem thinks it's only his second match in WXW, so no good way of keeping him established on the roster, beginning to establish him. But yeah, the whole Shotgun title thing, Norman House, he comes up short again. But I think that's the thing that people are going to take away from this, was Norman losing again and that mini tantrum at the end of it.
Yeah, and with that, they basically ended it, didn't they? Because I don't think they did one at Papenburg, because that was announced, wasn't it? So, not Papenburg, sorry, the next show.
In Obertraubling,
yeah.
I'll move on.
Ended in a bit of a damp squib.
Oskar and Robert Dreisker. So really good touch, because obviously that early promo, Dreisker didn't have a skier. he was the dog eat dog long sleeve shirt and jeans, a tracksuit bomb, something like that. So yeah, short match to begin with. Dreisker hit for Shattered Dreams to cause a DQ after about 2 minutes, so they restarted the street fight, and this is where things went a bit off the rails, figuratively speaking. All over the building, they went through by the Video Western crew. It bust so many seats. In the end, the Camel Clutch like the Kafik Schlacht won it for Dreisker. And then he played Record Ralph and smashed the Academy Trophy, which may or may not have been used for things from the past. But I know it was that photo he put up on his Twitter the day after, where he's taken a photo of the remains of the trophy, and you just see him grinning like an absolute madman at the taken to the light what he's done. It's like there's a few screws loose there, guys.
Dreissen's very, very quietly becoming a very, very good special set rest. That's the way of saying it, but basically street fight, hardcore, backstage style wrestler. I think he's very, very quietly becoming very, very good at that. Obviously, I think this was a very good match for like what it is, for the sort of the backstage balls. Obviously, the Academy Brawl we've put over about 2 weeks on the first episode. I think we put that one over. And the match he had with Jörn at Carrot 90.
Yeah, I wasn't as big a fan of it. I think I was more because of the
that was, I think it's because it was live.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think he's very quietly becoming one of these wrestlers who worked very, very well in these things. But yeah, it's completely unhinged. He's lost the plot, old Dreisker. Don't really know what's going on there. Bit of a shame, but I think we could look on this as being some of his best work already. The Gresham match at Carrot, obviously, which we've spoken about, was really, really good.
And I think if you go back to the start of the closed set days, he was starting to lean that way. The early Shotgun 2020 stuff, that kind of went. So he built the team with Anil Marek, and now that's clearly gone by the wayside.
It was always. I'm tough. It was tough on his students, but he was fair when he did it.
Yeah.
And even if he was angry and he screwed at them, he was doing it because he cared, and because it meant a lot to him. It was his reputation. Because I think the whole thing was there's always been, I think, the thing with him is that he's always in Walter's shadow, rightly or wrongly, and now he's doing these things and he doesn't care. That's the thing. He's lost the honor for him. Yeah. And I think that's where it's dangerous for Dreisker, because he was always doing it for the good of his students, for the good of the academy, and now he's like, he doesn't care about those students because they've frustrated him to a point where they're beyond saving. And unless he can, I don't see him doing any more academy stuff unless he can, he brings through his own sort of bunch of lads that he's trained secretly. I don't know. Maybe bring some people from Austria or something. I don't know.
I'll have to see where we go. I know he's got. Is it over traveling? He had Fairs Aguilar.
Yeah,
and he's got rotation on a future show. So I guess we're kind of keeping the loose ties in, but we'll have to see where this progresses, because obviously you also have the Gresham match or rematch that's been announced. But quickly move to main event: Tristan Archer against Jörn Simmons. Jörn unfortunately fell the first hurdle, or his first defense. We're back to Wayward Carrot with Tristan Archer, with the help of Rotten Flot and a bit of a screw up from Lavaniel.
Yeah.
And so I guess now we have tension between Lavaniel and Jörn Simmons. That's just going to keep building up. That monster of Jörn could well be coming back again, but it was a good main event. Yeah, personally, I would have liked to see Jörn's third reign go a little bit longer than one match, but this feels like we actually have the building blocks for something longer term in the shows. Tristan Archer and Rotten Flush, you've got that trio, and I think for the next show in True Colors and Dresden, you've got Archer against Axeman. There's a promo came out this week, him say begging is the wrong word, but demanding it's a fair fight. It's clearly in receipts what's going to happen. Fuck finish with Rotten Flot coming in, but now you're heading somewhere. It's kind of like Bobby and the Bastards from a few years back.
I suppose the thing you have happen though is the way I feel like you build towards a Simmons turn is I've always thought he's been a tweener, always been a tweener. Is you probably go for it's Jörn has a match against Archer and Rotten Flot, and he doesn't pick Levaniel on his team. He picks, Only Friends, or he picks Tisha and Hector or something like that, and he doesn't pick Levaniel. That's, I think, when you have something quite interesting going on.
And again, WXW great at these kind of slow burns. Like
you
can see now what the obvious is. It's Simmons wasn't steaming mad, but you could definitely, rightly so, he was pissed at what the fuck, Levaniel, you cost me. I fought to get this 2 months ago, and it's okay, I helped you, I did need your help here. At least no retrospective kind of thing. But I mean, that's the kind of thing I could maybe see. Is this the thing they do to Tag League and do the big explosion? I mean, Jörn's got a bit of a record with tag teams going a bit wonky Tag League.
Yeah. there's been a few, hasn't there? But I don't know. It's been a bit of a that's a long way away though. Still, that's still 4 months, isn't it? So
3-4 months, so plenty of time.
There's a lot of shows to go between there. So
again, a lot of water going on the bridge. So that was Slamming in My pretty good show, very noteworthy. I guess it's going to drop on WWE Network soon. It's already on WWE now. Why not subscribe to that? You're going to get it quicker there. But say definitely worth a few hours of your time. But
and I think again, it kind of, I think we said it previously, but the way that the small market shows which never would have made tape in the past, they all matter now. Which we're then immediately going to follow up with. This show doesn't appear to have, the next show doesn't appear to have made tape. But
2 shows, but so should we talk about the first of the 2 because it is a little bit noteworthy.
Go for it.
Rotation Alpha Kevin beat Project. Oh no, wrong one. ITAC, the what's his nickname in Berlin? The Adana Bulldozer.
Yes,
in that wacky game show music. He beat Oskar at the Academy show the next day, which was I saw the result come through. And was like, what?
Was that for the Academy Cup though?
No, so the before the show, Dreisker posted with the Academy Cup was no longer a thing because he'd broken it, which so I guess technically the Academy Cup died on April 30th.
Okay.
Right now there is no champion of Academy until they visit a trophy store, what have you. But so it was Oskar against Itach, formerly Basil. Bad result. I've on its own, I thought something's not right here. Was the run-in? Is we setting something up? But no, a few days afterwards, they put a clip on the Academy Facebook page. That was Oscar's swan song. And the Wrestling Observer this week seems to be hinting what we suspected. Oscar's heading over to Japan, training with Dojo there. And who knows, maybe by the end of this year, we'll be seeing him and the Screaming in Cork and Holland likes.
Yeah, and then when he can then end up doing Rev Pro as on Excursion. That'd be great.
There were worse ideas.
Yeah.
It was a
send it to join the Legion.
I'll get him to Gideon right now, but
I'll give Gideon a message.
You said, I remember you tweeted this for time, just the response. When that video went up, it wasn't. Oh, you're leaving us! God damn you! Why are you abandoning us? I think part of it as well as from day one, they were kind of open in terms of, all the media stuff and interviews done. It was clear he trained with Padlock Farley in New Zealand. His dream was Japan, and if the C word hadn't happened, maybe this run wouldn't have happened.
Yeah.
So I think it was open from day one. It wasn't like the give me a mercenary football and be badge kissing. I really love playing for this club, and then 6 months later he's off.
Not Rooney at Everton.
Well,
yeah,
but it's not like that. He was open and honest from day one. no, I guess I expected once the Dreisker thing finished, that would have been it. Wasn't expecting to be done this quick, and I mean the fact that match wasn't even advertised. I would guess
the thing is, I think for every single party, Oscar's run has been a net positive. It's been a positive for Oskar, I think, number one. He's got experience in post dojo. I mean, we don't. Let's say COVID didn't happen, and he ended up doing well. I suppose the ultimate positive thing would have been becoming a young lion.
Yeah.
Okay, that's probably better than working WXW, but if not, he might have ended up on the Aussie Indies, maybe Aussie or New Zealand Indies. WXW is basically the best thing that could have happened to him with what he had. He got to wrestle world class people. He got to wrestle world class people. He, I think he raised the game of sort of the fellow, I would about to say contenders. That's the wrong promotion. Fellow trainees. I think he didn't. He was he felt like he was in a bit of a gap between the trainees and the thing, but I don't feel like he embarrassed. I just felt he raised the game sort of everybody around him.
Yeah,
I think we got a glimpse of a wrestler who, in my opinion, is got the future ahead of him, a monumental upwards curve in front of him. And it kind of, again, just his presence on the shows, he improved the shows, and he was incredibly popular. And let's say the New Japan thing doesn't work out, if he comes back in 2 years' time or 18 months' time, as soon as that music hits and you hear that scream, everyone's going to go bloody bananas.
Well, we won't scream in time, but we'll still scream.
Yeah. So yeah, for me, it's a net positive for everybody involved, and even if worst case scenario, he goes to the New Japan dojo. He trains there for 6 months, and he kind of goes, and the New Japan goes, "Thanks, but I don't think we're going to get anywhere." He comes back. He's had 6 months in the dojo. He can come wrestle in Europe and be bloody brilliant. He can be Walter too.
And if it goes the other way, he's had an excursion for his proper excursion. 6 months in Germany. Where he's had dates in Hungary as well. So yeah.
He's not embarrassed. Every wrestler should be. I think every training wrestler with a third of the talent of Oskar, and let's face it, he's incredibly talented.
Yep.
A wrestler with a third of the talent of Oskar would be, would do well to do what he's done, basically.
Big things ahead in his future, whether it's Japan, Europe, America, wherever. So definitely keep an eye on that name. And for the love of God, Cage Match, give him a profile, because
unless he's one of these people who's chosen not to have one.
Well, he hasn't got the work was requested to have his profile deleted messages, but who knows?
Yeah.
So anyway, away from that, another show which didn't make tape, WXW were in Over Traveling last weekend. I know there's a few videos went up on their socials, didn't seem to show any cameras at ringside, so just run through the results quick. Levaniel beat Goliath Jr., Maggot defended the shotgun belt over rotation, Baby Allison retained the women's title over Nikki Foxley, the House of Hungry beat the wacky team of Lawrence Roman and Peter Dehani, Robert Dreisker beat Fires Aguila, and Ben beat Orshi in 2 separate matches, which
the context for that. No.
Yeah, I'd want another context from us. Was Orshi trying to save the day for Fires? Obviously, you had the trainee thing there, and Cowd Weekend, he was very aggrieved of, you're going to let us down again, but I don't care, that whole thing. Another trainee or academy match, Danny Frey and Elijah Bloom beat Darius and Tormentor, 2 names I don't think I've ever heard of.
Tormentor, I feel like I've seen before. I think I've seen Darius because I saw him on Pro Wrestling Ostrich show for a couple of weeks back, from last year. But Tormentor, I believe, unless I'm completely confusing him with someone else, I believe he's a Polish wrestler and he's a masked wrestler. Might be wrong though.
Cage Match doesn't have a clicky link, so I'll take your word for it.
I feel like I saw Tormentor, and I feel I've seen him on a Next Step show, but I might be wrong. I'd have to look back through some of my records.
So, yeah, so I mean, again, academy guys in the semi-main, given ring time, but yeah, didn't look
Harrius is
great
good though.
tape. So, and of course, main event: Axel Tischer over Hector Invictus. Keeping Axel hot for True Colors next weekend in Dresden, which yeah, that looks to be a stacked show, and that one is of course making tape, barring a massive catastrophe, and we'll run through that card. Axel Tischer challenging Tristan Archer for the world title. Fast Time Mudo and Stephanie Mays defending the tag titles against the Arrows and Rotten Flot. Maggots defending the shotgun belt over Peter Hanyi. Idle Blanc against Sense of Alto again. And we've got Baby Allison defending against Eva Klasky, which for a 6-7 match card, that's pretty stacked for True Colors.
Yeah, good one. I always felt that True Colors last. In normal times, they were always quite good because they were. It's the first one after Carrot, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
So you have a lot of the blow-off shows from there. True Colors 20. Sorry, go.
So Stromberg and Dresden, that's a building for big ass fan in the aisle. So
yes,
it looks different
right.
as well. So it's not just your usual square room with video screens up. So that's going to be distinctive too.
Yeah, and like I seem to remember True Colors 2018 was like probably one of my favorite WXW shows of the year, and that was a bloody strong year as well. So it was it's always one of the shows that I quite enjoy seeing.
The next night there'll be a Hellraiser for Wheel of Wrestling show. Kind of expect this to be taped. Axel Tischer, Lawrence Roman, Fast Time Mudo, Tristan Archer, Sense of Ultra, Nigel Blanc against Rotten Flot, and Orshi against Tamas Shabo, and Peter Hanin, Eva Klasky against Magda Baby Allison. That's announced so far.
Yeah.
Pretty stacked card considering, Tischer's got Roman if he wins, Archer's got Fast Time Mudo, so we've got two matches. Both conceivably could suddenly become title matches, whether it's an easy first defense, proverbially speaking, or a challenge.
But the other thing is you put Roman on it in a big match against Tischer. That's a big local match though. But that's a Saxony. That's a big Saxony or Saxon-Anhalt, whichever one it is. They're all next step. They're next step people, so it's going to be.
Regardless of the result, do you think that could main event?
Yeah, I think that probably will.
Especially because that announced time as a title match because we can't. So
yeah, I think Tischer Roman will probably be the main event on that show.
Look forward to that one. They'll probably hitting on demand, probably mid-June at this rate. Also in June, WXW's back for Marktal. They're really playing up the Bobby Guns thing. The day since he last lost in Hamburg. I think announced so far they've announced Robert Dreisker against Rotations, we said before. Psycho Mike against Heisenberg, and Jörn Simmons and Levaniel against Rottenflot, which keep it ticking along, lads.
In my opinion, Bobby Guns won't lose in Hamburg until it's bloody Axel Dieter Jr. He's the only. I don't ever see him
accept in a cross
Germany. You can't have it as being anybody else, really. Frankly, it has to be a hometown person. It has to be a proper Hamburger young, as we would say. Weitmuller's obviously not a thing anymore. Max disappeared. Oskar, I suppose actually Oskar.
Oscar's out of the picture. Maybe Heisenberg.
No.
Built up.
It has. There's the only wrestler of the statue good enough to beat Bobby Guns in Hamburg is Axel Dieter Jr. There's nobody else who could do it.
Give Nick Conlon a go up a spreadsheet and wait 90 days from beyond something.
I mean, it's Junior. If you did a big title match in Hamburg, Guns as champion, Junior as a challenger, could be one of the biggest matches in WXW history, best matches in WXW history, guarantee it.
Well, fingers crossed, but I know they were meant to be announcing Guns thing, but that'll probably maybe next time we record. We've got a few shows under our belt. Then going into June again, we've got the triple header technically in the Turbine Hall. Broken Rules on Saturday, June the 11th. So for Broken Rules, of course, I've written this horribly. Robert Dreisker, Jonathan Gresham in a Carrot Finals rematch. Karen Raw against Axel Tischer, and a surprise benefit scramble. That's rotation, Bobby Guns, Orshi, Peach Tahani, Hector Invictus, and Masha Slamovich involved. The surprise benefits can be revealed after the match, and I guess it's a real mayhem of mystery.
Yeah. Well, what could it be? It could be anything. It could be a surprise entry into World Tag Team Festival if you can find a tag team partner.
Shortcut for top. That's comes afterwards.
Yeah, it could be number 30 and shortcut to the top. Yeah, it could be anything like that, really. We're just throwing ideas out, really. I mean, it's just rare that they're doing a scramble because it's not a thing WWE does.
It's not usually their style. Like, I know they did one the character pre-show, the alternate 5-way, which that's
different.
Yeah, I mean, typically it's not. That's the only time they do it. Then the next night, Sunday the 12th, they're doing 2 shows in one night, so it's going to be a bit of a marathon. Announced so far, they haven't said for which show, but Chris Ridgway against Fast Time Mudo. Expect a lot of kicks there. Peter Tahani against Axel Tischer, and a World Tag Team Festival qualifier with Vincent Heisenberg and Maggots, we said before, taking on the Only Friends. And yeah, this is where I feel if they are going to blow up the Only Friends, for a better word, for Tag League or Tag Festival, that's going to be the match. But at the same time, I think it's going to be another knockout tournament thing rather than the mini leagues. Do you put Heisenberg and Maggot in? Does that telegraph Maggot's losing a shotgun belt? I mean, might have lost it before then, but it's a weird tandem bear where they don't team back regularly.
There's too many shows in between here and then to really make any real predictions.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. If we hadn't done a show between Carrot and now, then we would have missed 3 world title changes. We would have missed 2 world title changes. It's kind of like it's a bit of a you can't really predict that much.
Boring.
Yeah.
Then also the Wheel of Wrestling double feature. Gresham, of course, Robert Dreisker, Lavaniel, Sebastian Suave and Psycho Mike out of Smash, and Impact Smasher Slamovich. Expect more to be announced for those cards beforehand. Again, I wouldn't be surprised if stuff is announced after Broken Rules, since we're taking 2 of those. And after May went pretty barren in terms of WWE Now uploads, they are absolutely slammed for the next month or so.
Yeah, and that's the way to go. And then you kind of get the traditional break in June, usually, isn't it? Traditional July, and then you end up heading in towards sort of shortcut for the start of the year in August, isn't it?
Yes, looking at their schedule, it looks like so. Obviously, we've got Broken Rules in June, the Wheel of Wrestling in June. It's a month then between the Frankfurt Erfurt doubleheader, then Dead End in Hamburg at the end of mid-late July, then short to the top at the start of August, and then nothing till Tag Festival weekend. So maybe late for holidays.
Well, they might have that. They might have that Fight Forever shows, man. That's about it.
Yeah, that's I guess because Cage Match listed as an Academy show rather than WXW, but it's so there's no shortage of stuff coming out, but it's been a quiet month, like I say, but it's going to ramp up from here, starting with True Colors next weekend. See what drops. I don't know if we've said anything yet about what's going on to WXW now, but yeah, I guess that's it for episode 3. Record Robert, we're calling it. Yeah,
got a big old hammer out.
Rest in peace for Femme Fatale, Ambition, and Academy Trophy.
Yeah, they better buy a new one.
We've got a few months.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll sell it off in the flea market. Someone can buy the nameplate, someone can buy...
I'd love to get to that flea market, but I'd know I wouldn't be able to take anything home. I have to send somebody with a shopping list. I want Walter's fridge. Yeah.
Dibs on a
yeah. I need to send somebody on Facebook Live and say, right, buy that, and that, and then I'll send you the money. Yeah.
Can I have a bit of light tube that Dreisker smashed over Norman last year?
No, I don't want mercury poisoning.
Well, just the glass still means the milk will evaporate at this point. But anyway, I guess say I'll do anything to plug. I know I've got a Groundhoppers guide, but
We're heading to
your season's over,
kind
but,
of the season's over. We will have another Groundhoppers guide up very soon, and then we're heading towards the new season, really. So, so Groundhoppers Guide on YouTube.com. Type in Groundhoppers Guide. It's on the Arn and Eddie YouTube channel. So I suppose watch them as well. They're quite good. I'm Mike Kilby on everything, so you can find me there. Just keep watching WXW. That's all I'd really say.
And guessing football front, depending on how quick YouTube turns this around, I might either be eagerly excited, celebrating, or crying into my pint tomorrow night. Sunderland at Wembley, we don't have a good run. The only time we win at Wembley is when fans aren't allowed. So, yeah, let's see how it goes on Saturday afternoon. But yeah, you can follow me at Ian Wrestling on Twitter, at Big Back Body Drop on Twitter for the website stuff. And yeah, when WXW is uploading again, we'll have reviews up. And I guess that's it for another episode. We shall see you in a few weeks for True Colours reviews.
Woo. See you soon.
Take care, everyone.